vision set for where we're headed with it. And then for this meeting, probably nothing at this time.
Okay.
Public Works projects are wrapping up. They are feeling good about where they're at. They're still trying to get the okay from the state. And they're working on that planning and zoning. We had such an amazing meeting last week. It was positive. There was, not everybody agreed, but they had positive communication and they just, everything was just great. It was the way the planning commission should be run. So kudos to you too. Thank you.
We got
two in background.
you what?
So we have 2 guys in background for hiring.
For the police department?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were last.
Chris, you will be
last
with us
night,
for
so
sure.
My background check's coming up.
Other than that, things are, I've actually been gone quite a bit, so Skylar will probably be able to shed more light if there's been gone for like a month. So,
Just hired a new secretary.
oh,
The what?
A new secretary. She started
New secretary.
today, so.
An additional one or a replacement?
Replacement for Shira that moved to Arizona.
Oh.
Cool. Not cool she moved, but go ahead, we got the replacement. Okay. I gotta get my recording going here so I can write up some good minutes after the meeting. Next is a presentation, resolution 2646, agreement for bailiff services. Lindsay.
So it's the same agreement we brought you last time. Our current bailiff has resigned, so we need to figure something out now. So this is a good option. We think that they provide all of the training, the bulletproof vests, the guns, everything. We don't have to provide that, just pay the hourly rate, so.
I support it.
Okay.
So you know who this person is? There's been
yeah.
communication with this individual,
Come on up
I
here.
assume?
Yeah, so from my understanding,
Come here where you-
Cynthia's talked to him. It's like a bishop's. Yeah, so from my understanding, Cynthia has talked to the bailiff service. I haven't.
Okay.
They're a reputable service that other courts use. I think the cost is close enough, it's worth saving. So, the police department doesn't have any objections right now.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. You didn't accept. Okay. Next one. Councilman Jex would like to talk to us about a project that he's been working on called discharge of projectiles. I want to say something before you do this though. For me, this is exciting to see the council involved in resolutions and ordinances and working with the city on dictating the way that this government runs. Thank you. And I know all of you are busy like this. Never, ever be afraid to come up with an idea. Let's see if we can come up with a resolution or an ordinance and move it forward. That's our job as city council. So kudos and time goes.
So this one's really kind of basic. I think it's ridiculous that the parents can't buy their 8-year-old a BB gun at Christmas and then they have to go out into the county to shoot it. They can't set up something in their backyard. I think it's ridiculous. And so I didn't even know that there was a ban on any of it, and until a few months ago. Well, I guess 7 or 8 months ago. So this does a couple of things. It doesn't authorize firearms. State code, federal code, those all still apply. This applies to BB guns, slingshots. There's age requirements. The homeowner's responsible for any damage. They can't be heard from an adjacent property. Like all of these things, it's letting homeowners use their land for what they want, you know? And so that's kind of the nuts and bolts of it.
22 would be considered a firearm.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
I know, even suppressed, even
So-
suppressed, I check.
So Jeremy 22's out.
I was just asked that.
Wait. Yeah.
Jerry and
Yeah,
I were reading through this same resolution one day, and,
You need to hear it.
it's just a quick thing. We're reading through the same resolution in the code, and we agreed with Councilmember Jackson, because in the actual code, it prohibits slingshots. And so that was, I had to go home and confiscate a few slingshots probably. So this was, it's, one of our positions is why incriminate the whole population with one lot. So I haven't been through all of this, but I know exactly which part of the code Councilmember Jackson is addressing, so.
And so this would actually repeal, I believe. I think
By
it-
the way, to clarify, when I ask questions, it's not always my question.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
If you get them publicly, you.
Don't go.
Even
Um,
the subsonic 22s.
I tried, I got 3 of them, but, no, I heard and maybe this is more appropriate in the council reports, but I heard a phrase that basically said, there's a cost to freedom. You know, if we were absolutely worried about safety of everybody, the speed limit would not exceed 15 miles an hour anywhere in the country. And it would eliminate traffic deaths. And so, but what we do is we trade that off because we want to get to places quicker. And so we're like, okay, I understand I'm taking a bigger risk by traveling faster and that this can occur, but I want the freedom to do that. And I think for me, the last 6 months has been really educational for me. And I haven't gotten them all right. And I made mistakes. I haven't asked questions when I should have. I haven't listened to counsel that I should have. And that's not going to be an issue. Well, I can't say it's not going to be an issue. I'm going to try for it not to be an issue from here on out. But I think creating that environment of freedom. When I was in Las Vegas, and it does tie into this, I ran into a guy that has a website, and I texted a couple of here just to bounce the idea. But it basically goes through, and it's an AI platform, and they analyze city ordinances, city council minutes, resolutions, things like that, and then you get a freedom score. It's like, this is how, and I said, you know what, I'm really intrigued by that. It's called Citizen Portal. I think it's citizenportal.ai. Is that? And it's free for the public to get on, and you can see that. And he goes, you know, he's giving me the spiel, and talking about how councils don't like it. And I'm like, well, I'm actually a sitting council member, and I'm intrigued by this. And he was like, really? I said, yeah, let me bounce it off a couple and see if, like, I'm the only one, like, maybe I got a fever. It was 116, 117 in Vegas, so that could have been the cause. But I said, for me, it's the score is what the score is. And if we truly want to be transparent to the public, let's figure out where we're at and the score that we want to be in. If we come in higher than average, awesome. If we come in way low, then it's like, okay, and it'll point out exactly which ordinance, which condition caused the thing. And so it's
Was this the result of that? Was that how you saw it?
no, but I was kind of in the midst of that. This came from my son and his wife. They moved in with her parents, and so obviously we are storing a lot of their stuff. And my son called me one day. He needed a photo of his birth certificate, and so went to his safe and opened it up, and there sat the BB gun that we gave him when he was 8. And my grandson's 5. And I'm like, man, I would love for when they come up, I would love to take them out in the backyard or out in the alley and, shoot a BB gun. And I'm like, I can't even do that. And
So this would be allowed everywhere in the city limits?
Yep. Homeowner's responsible for any damage.
Well, I read your thing that you sent on the AI thing. Score us, yes, this is what helps us. But with this particular ordinance right here, I don't have a problem with it. Because if we have the ordinances in place, okay, your kid shoots a BB gun or a slingshot or an airsoft or whatever the deal is, and you damage someone's property, that we have checkpoints, should have checkpoints in place that helps with this problem. So we own a couple of, I have a BB gun. It's fun to, up in Idaho, we go in our son's backyard, set up this great big plywood piece, and it was just fun.
Yeah.
It's under parent supervision, and it's not always going to happen under parent supervision, we know that. But we're not parenting parents here.
Exactly.
We are setting an ordinance and living by it.
Yep.
And so, I don't have a problem.
Have there been any counter arguments that anybody's heard or reasons why that was originally put in place we should consider?
I do know, somebody reached out to me a few months ago and said, if this ever comes up, don't do it. There was a problem on about 1st or 2nd East, where a teenager went out and decided to shoot some windows at houses and some cars. But he did it late at night. I'm not excusing, he was caught, he had to pay. But like I said, you can't parent parents. It's just a fun activity.
Well, and it's not like you went and said, wait, let me check the ordinance first. It says I can't go and shoot out other windows, so now what am I gonna do?
And
Yeah.
whether, and he,
All it does is punish
It didn't
it
change.
just punishes those that adhere to the ordinance.
yeah, so I don't have trouble.
I think the only problem I have with it comes from my medical background. I've seen a lot of BB accidents, and I've seen a couple eyes shot out, and I've seen a couple kids that have been killed with BBs. And so parents have got to take some responsibility to teach. It's like with any gun, right?
Mhm.
But we've got to teach our children to be careful, and that BB gun can kill.
Oh, yeah.
It can absolutely kill. So,
I'm just kind of thinking these apartment buildings of kids out there shooting. We know they don't have any space and they're out there shooting, they're allowed to shoot BB guns out there.
Well,
I don't
So
think
But
that's
it
their
should be
property.
personal property.
it's personal property, the property owner
Oh.
would have to,
Personal property.
Yeah, I think there was the
Okay.
the personal.
any apartment complex or
Okay.
anything like that, they would have to have the apartment complex's approval to do
Okay.
that. And the apartment complex would be taking on the liability, so I
Yeah,
don't see
no
them,
way.
I don't see them doing that.
Right. Okay.
All right, well, this comes up as a discussion in our strategic session too, so
Okay.
we'll open it up to the public, and any questions or comments they have, we can do that at the same time. Thank you for that. Next is our Trails and Open Space Master Plan. Is that all three of you?
Right.
And let's see what we got. So if you can try to do this in 20 minutes, 25, that would be awesome.
Okay, community development staff was the one to bring this forward just because we were the ones to kind of draft the ordinance, do the kind of clerical work of this item. But Parks and Rec must and should take all the credit for all of the drafting of the plan, hiring Landmark to draft the plan and bring this forward. We're just the kind of vehicle this time around. So it did go to Planning Commission, having met all of the public notice standards. There wasn't a strong turnout for the public hearing itself, but there were some comments just about the plan that yielded sort of like a, how can I say it, some last minute changes on the draft coming before this meeting. Landmark Design was pretty on the ball when it came to incorporating comments from both the Planning Commission and the community. And so we feel like we have a pretty good master plan. Better to have a plan than no plan. I don't think we should delay to get the perfect plan. The plans can be amended. We do have a strong master plan for Parks and Recs, but I'd rather yield my time to Zach if you have anything.
Yeah, so a little bit of the history of the plan. So if you remember back in 2013, SDAT came to town, and they went around the town and gave some recommendations. And at that same time, they talked about the murals and everything, all the benefits and the amenities and different things that Tremont has. From that, in 2017, the community gathered, or the city gathered community input and worked with Simon Sorensen to create a Main Street plan. That Main Street plan kind of changed into, in 2020, the city hiring Landmark Design and creating an integrated land use plan. That integrated land use plan was designed to work with the our current general plan. Thank you. But we've seen a substantial amount of growth since then, right? So in 2021, Landmark brought the concept to the city. Then in 2022, they had the draft, and in 23, they finally adopted the integrated land use plan. Chapter 3 of the integrated land use plan is was on parks, trails, and open space. And a lot of that information was taken from the 2011 Parks, Trails, and Open Space Master Plan. So that one superseded the 2011 one. Then during that same exact time in 21 and 22 is when we saw all the massive growth in Tremont, where we went from an average of 100 units per year. We saw 300 both those years. So we were already into the 2030. We were already 10 years behind our plan at that point. And that was just off projections of the sewer plan. So me being a new director, looking for guidance where to go, so let's just create our own master plan for parks and recreation, trails, and open space. So that's kind of where this came from. So the plan itself has 6 chapters. First chapter is the introductions, and it outlines purpose, the profile of the community, some summaries, and a little bit of who we are as the community. Chapter 2 is the parks section. It goes over the level of service, community needs with standards and recommendations. Chapter 3 is the detailed parks and designs. Chapter 4 is the trails chapter, and chapter 5 is on open space. And then chapter 6 is the implementation, funding, priorities, and kind of a roadmap for staff to follow. So what you see on the screen is the top recommendations from each chapter within that. It also sets the goals and priorities that we should be looking towards, and helps us as we move forward with trying to handle growth on the park side. So yeah, so a little bit into the each chapter. So this master plan is going to help us connect our current city park system to the city's mission and vision of connecting where we are with where the city wants to be based off the mission and vision. And this will also go in hand with the council's current working on their priorities and what the priorities are set. So with Parks and Rec. The plan uses a 2-lens approach, with one as an analytical approach, seeing how what we have today stacks up against other cities and other communities our size and in our region, but it also and also national standards. And the second is on public outreach approach on using the wellness surveys, public engagement, community needs assessment, and the park showcase to see what the community desires are for our parks today. So this plan was given us a framework for policies, for goals, for budgets, and standards to work towards. So some key takeaways, some top takeaways from some of it is the residents use parks frequently. Stevens, Schumann, and North Park are the most frequented, most highly rated overall also. If you go in the mornings, there's usually a dozen or so people walking the trail every morning. And then after 5, it's usually slam-packed with sports every day almost. Then overall park quality is a positive. However, Meadow Park and then here at the city office, residents are desiring better amenities and an update to those parks. Top priorities from the community overall are better trail connectivity, having additional parks, improved communication, and programs like dog parks and aquatics. A rec center is also a high priority and often joins in with the aquatics discussion. So those two usually go hand in hand when we hear from the residents. Looking at the level of service, national park standards have a city our size at 13 acres per 1,000 residents. You've heard me say before how although we're at a 2.4 acres per 1,000 residents. That's a low number, but it shouldn't be alarming because we do also live in the West. So not every state and community has 6 national parks within a 5-hour drive, right? And we have 120 some thousand acres of farmland. So there's a ton of open space here. I think that 13 acres is typically driven from the east where it's highly dense and highly populated. And so they do have higher amounts of parks. The number we should be focusing a lot more on is park access, making sure that we have a park within a half mile of all of our residents so that our residents have access to parks when needed. Also playing areas, our ball diamonds, our open space for sports needs to be included in that and improved. That is something, our parks are heavily used for sports, that they get overused and over demanded, that it's hard for other things to come in and recreate and do things that they would like to do during the peak hours of the morning and the evenings. The rest of the time during the days, kids are at school, parents are at work, and so our parks go unused during that time most of the time. Let's see. Park access and the level continues to decrease as the population grows. So our level of service, the more people come in, the lower that goes. The most important thing to plan for now is acquiring land for future. Right now, the city doesn't have much land. We do have some that is earmarked for Parks and Recreation, which we're super grateful for. But as we continue to look toward the future, it's important to acquire more land that we can either trade or invest in or do other things. So residents should be able to walk to a park within half mile of their home. We do currently have some gaps. I believe we have 3 gaps, but our new parks will meet those needs, those gaps. We have 3 parks that will meet those needs as they get built. So beyond that, we need to make sure, and we've worked with the community development department to help us meet those needs in the future. We also evaluated amenities and how they stack up against our current level of service. We've set standards with the community input, and so we have a table in the plan that has how many surplus we have or how many deficient we are. It also sets us up by year up to 2050 on our current estimated growth, which we do believe to be low because it is based on our current sewer plan. So as that sewer plan does get built out, we'll be able to update this to hopefully match that and then be able to update those numbers once we get a better estimated growth plan. Priorities would be to develop planned parks, update existing parks, and then acquire land for future park use. The trails, they are probably the most high priority from the residents from what we heard is creating the community trail system. They want to see the trail plan implemented. And that's something that we've talked a lot with the community development also. The open space chapter is seen as a high-level guide for open space and more natural areas. We don't have a ton of that other than farmland currently in town, but as we continue to build out, something to look more on. And then the implementation chapter goes over some funding ideas. When you look at the numbers on the cost, it's important not to get hung up on whatever that very high number is.
That's what I tell my wife when I buy a gun. The cost is gonna-
Yep, but when we have the vision and the plan and the future in mind, that cost we will figure it out as we go with funding implementation of different things through grants. In the needs assessment, it was asked about a RAP tax, and 70% of the 500 plus respondents were in favor or in support of the RAP tax.
So what do we need to, what do you need to do to implement
So
that?
we're currently in the works of doing that. This year is a county ballot. Staff is working to get it on for next year, which is the city ballot for 2027. So we're getting the wording in place right now, and then we'll have to go take it to the county to have them see if they want to move forward with a county-wide RAP tax. In 2015, they declined that, and so we had that option. But now, 11 years later, I feel we need to do that again, just to cover ourselves, that see if they want to move forward, and if not, then we have that option to move forward as a city for the RAP tax. So we would get.
What would that do to our low tax rate that brings people here to buy, like how much of it?
It's 1/10 of 1%. So 1 penny for every $10 is what it is.
So this isn't something that's going to impact our merchants to where they're even going to lose more people coming in the door. This is what I don't want. We need everybody coming in each door that we can.
But this RAP tax is really important. I feel like we need that money for.
Yeah, so if you look at the parks going in around the state, I mean, Provo just put in a $22 million park, Lehigh, 6 months later, about the same thing, and now every single park is almost being built out that same way. We're not looking to do anything like that, but we are looking to get hopefully to that very large number that we talked about, right? To try to make a dent to get there. And so 1 penny for every $10 is what a RAP tax would go toward. That would bring in, right now, currently 300,000 is my estimate into the city for recreation, arts, and parks.
And that would be earmarked just for parks.
So it's recreation, arts, and parks. So it could go to anything related to that. How it's worded and how it's put together is up in the air, and that's something that would have to go to council if you want to make it so it's a grant and outside entities can come and apply for it and be given some of that. If we want it for city use only, there's a lot of different variables that can happen. Yep, but it would all be set here by the council. So
Can I throw one thing on your radar? I don't have kids, but that actually, other than hit up by 3 separate people asking if they're like over here at Library Park, if like they would take their kids there, but their kids, as soon as they hit the ground, they're off, and if there's a way to put up like a fenced area.
Yeah,
like that.
especially with it being by the street. I've had that same thing a lot of times.
I just said I would throw it on your radar, but
yeah.
Something to look at. So,
Yep. No, I've heard that same. That same.
That's a good idea.
Yep. So that's what I have. Any questions?
Okay, so back to that RAP tax, it'll be on 2027 to vote for, is that?
If we get to that.
If we get to that point.
Okay.
Yep. So that's staff's current goal to get it there.
And it was 70 what % was generally in favor?
I
I remember seeing that. Yeah, I was trying to find the exact stat.
Yeah, so it's and that's broken up between support and highway support, right? So those two combined is over 70%. I believe it's 74%.
And it helps, but kind of a drop in the bucket too.
Yeah.
But you gotta.
Correct,
start
but,
Yeah.
because I
Yes.
mean, yeah, it's a very high number, but,
But having that.
it can add up
to
and
grow
it'll help.
will help.
Yes, for sure.
And then it's not coming out of general funds for all the.
Well, the other thing to consider there too is a lot of the state level grants require a match.
Yeah.
And so if we can take those funds and say, hey, we're allocating to this, would you like to match? Oftentimes that'll help
Most of your,
because we do have it allocated.
most of your trails grants that we're looking to is like an 80-20% matching.
Well, Zach, we know you've gone through a lot of work over a long period of time with this. Your little thing you did out at the fairgrounds was all part of this. So we appreciate all the work that you've done on this. This is a well put together plan. Thank you.
Thanks, Sid.
Yep.
Well done.
All right, next on the docket is ordinance 2613. Community rezone code text amendment.
Yeah, staff is looking to simplify parts of the process where it's unnecessarily convoluted. And in this case, there are things that per code we're requiring that we shouldn't be. So state code, yeah, exactly. So the changes to this code are threefold. It's mainly strike-throughs, actually. The sections, parts of section B, C, and D of the code. It's doing a few things. So first, regarding A and B, a lot of the language for what staff is looking for in a narrative, we don't ever want to be accused of tying an applicant down to like have them say things they don't need to or want to say. So we're just taking out language that just says we're looking for a narrative, hit a few beats, reference our plans and reference the zoning map. That keeps it simple, as it keeps it clean. Two is the requirement for a map. Staff has the skills and the know-how of both Fox Elder County and Jones and Associates maps. We can create maps. We don't need the applicants to waste their time doing that. D is in reference to how it's basically asking an applicant to bring up or to generate an engineered concept plan, and that's problematic. When we talk about real money being put down for a proposal, it starts to look like applicants are guaranteed or vested certain things. So we don't want them spending any money on engineering when the question is, does the new zoning, requested zoning fit in an area as it's been discussed before?
And let me clarify one thing, if you don't mind, Jeremy. This is for just hard zoning. This isn't for an overlay or bonus density. This is just strict zoning for the change going from R20 down to R110, or from R10 to R120. It's just, this is just our qualifications for strict zoning.
So we are streamlining and simplifying, and this was reviewed by the Planning Commission.
Because in the new zone, it would be required.
Yes.
Okay.
And they know that's something that we're providing another tool for the city to have a more stringent requirements. Yeah.
Along with the
Yes.
development agreement.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this was reviewed by the Planning Commission on July 14. There was a really good discussion talking about largely how the Commission just wants to see a simplification of the process and gear our applicants towards looking at the general plan or the integrated land use plan, the future land use map that's part of that plan, the new parks plan, all of that. These are good places for applicants to draw a strong argument from if they can, swing that. If they have the zoning that they're requesting to be adjacent, that is just based on so much state and federal precedents as being like a strong argument. Those are the types of things that should be discussed in the rezone application. And so a good discussion from the Planning Commission. They recommended approval with a vote of 4-0. Members Capener and Miller were absent from that meeting, with alternate members Stickney filling in and voting.
Okay.
Can I ask a favor?
Yeah.
Do you have a zone cheat sheet that you can email me?
Yes.
Of what
A good
zone
idea
goes
of
on.
what he's zoning.
Yeah, I try and get it down and it's all right. Yeah.
You mean you don't work around from that?
I'll look into the code and just send you a simple table. It
Yeah,
doesn't
like
have, and
R
it doesn't have,
110 means
okay, send
this,
it all.
What were the concerns by the person that opposed?
No,
No one opposed.
No, it was.
Four
to zero.
So recommended approval.
It was a nice discussion that they had though. I mean, it went back and forth with different ideas, but
They
in
mainly,
the end, they all said, let's do it.
well, they mainly discussed the, striking the intent.
Yeah.
They wanted, because our code requires what does the applicant intend to do, and if you focus on that and you veer off that, intent can change, they can change hands.
course.
They can- And so we just wanted the applicant to stick towards the land use plan, does it fit the zoning, the proper zoning principles.
And can we put that in the cheat sheet too, and then I won't ask questions like I did last time?
Okay,
We just did the cheat sheet to all of us, so we all have it.
okay.
Everybody's on the same page.
Kind of like the, you know, the first time they come and when it's for this, that's not the time to say, well, what are you gonna build?
Yes. That is when we do, so when we do like an overlay with bonus density, those are when you can bring intent in, because you're doing a master plan community. When you're doing a strict zone change, but the intent should also always align with the land use plan and the general plan. And so that's where we wanted, like, their intent may be something else, but what good planning principles, we'll have a cheat sheet of good planning principles.
So
Yeah, okay.
you're gonna have to basically do
Well,
this.
if I had $1 for every time I've been corrected for putting my foot in my.
very good.
Okay.
Thanks.
Next one, ordinance 2416, planning code text amendment idea.
All right, so it came by the director from the council that we look at term limits. I want to focus on the planning commission themselves, how on the June 23rd meeting, there's a really good discussion that evolved more into, well, there was discussion on 2, 3, and 4-year term limits, so there's just talk about the viability of each of those. But the planning commission did come up with a really good suggestion to look at code language for alternate members. And so staff in the report submitted in the meeting packet has option A that talks about the original draft written by staff. It just adjusts term limits and adjusts some other language in that section that already exists in our code. Option B encapsulates the discussion from the planning commission to talk about 4-year terms per their suggestion, and then to draft this alternate members code consisting of subsections A and B as well. And so when it gets time to go to a motion, I'll be handing you a paper that looks like this, where there's recommended motions in the staff report, but I expanded to talk about option A and B or corrections to give the
Probably
council.
just give that to them now.
There we go. Yep. But again, expanded recommended motions to give you clarity if you want 2-year term limits, but want to keep the alternate member language, just to give you flexibility there.
I think it might be worth reading through just the short text. Do you guys want to hear?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So should I do the alternate members?
Let's go ahead, I'll go ahead. This is what the staff originally proposed to the planning commission, is we're adding, instead of 3 years, 2 years, and shall expire, because it wasn't clear in code how long and when it would expire. Shall expire in January of the 2nd year following the appointment and until their respective successor shall have been appointed, provided that the terms shall be assigned and adjusted necessary to maintain staggered appointments so that the 2 members expire, so that 2 terms of 2 members expire each year, so we alternate, kind of like you are the council. Alternate members shall serve under the same term provisions and may serve in place of an absent or disqualified member until a new replacement is appointed as provided by this title. So it's just clarifying the staggering of the term limits, and then also the alternate members can be in there. The only thing that they changed that the planning commission suggested was to increase and this is something for the council to deliberate on, from the 2 years to 4 years. They wanted 4 years term. And then I think this is the same.
Yeah, that's
all the same. And then they added the alternate members. We don't have a very strong code defining what alternate members do. This is what they added. The city council may appoint 1 or more alternate members to the planning commission. Alternate members shall be planning commission members and shall be subject to the same appointment process, qualification, terms of office, training requirements, removal provisions, and compensation as all other members of the planning commission except otherwise provided in this section. And this is where they felt like the alternate members should be able to have a voice in the discussion, but not necessarily a vote, to kind of help prep them if they're ever appointed again. And so alternate members may participate in all planning commission meetings and deliberations, but shall not vote unless designated by the chairperson to serve in the place of an absent or disqualified voting member, or when a vacancy exists on the planning commission, when so designated. The alternate member shall possess the same authority and voting privileges as members for whom they are serving. And B, in the event no alternate member is available to serve, the chairperson may designate a current NPI member who has regularly participated in NPI meetings as determined by the zoning administrator to serve as a temporary alternate member for that meeting. This is kind of helping prepare people who are active in the community to take a bigger role in what they can and how they can act, because we're having a lot of discussion between NPI members and planning commission. We want them to work together. So a temporary alternate member designated under this subsection shall serve only for the duration of that meeting and shall possess the same authority and voting privileges as an alternate member while so designated. So is that my time limit?
No. So the question I have is,
Yes.
You have checked this code with Dalton, and we can do this? I'm just a little
With the
concerned.
NPI?
It just seems like we're giving some people some latitude to be up there making discussions and all that have not been appointed. And I just want to make sure that we're not stepping outside the bounds of ordinance or the Utah State Code or something,
Okay.
and just bringing someone in and saying, okay, you can be part of this discussion even though you don't have a vote. You know, for example, in city council, unless we call it out, we can't really have another person contributing to our city council discussions.
Yeah.
And I don't think you could unless they were elected.
We haven't read this by Dalton, we should do that.
Yeah.
So I would
think
check
it's-
that previous, because
I agree with you.
I love the concept, I love the idea, but I want to make sure we're stepping hand in hand with the ordinance from Utah State.
So what happens in the 4 years? I mean, they're just done and then we find somebody else.
Well, they can, or they.
Or they can reapply.
If we choose to keep them there, they can reapply and
They would have
And
to
stay again.
still reapply, just like the
just like,
rest of us have
just
to.
like we have to go through
Yeah.
a process, they have to go through
Yeah.
the same process.
Yeah.
I do like this. What's that?
Yeah, you are, you were gonna do it for 12 years. Do they have to,
Has to be a cut and dry.
yeah, there has to be a cut and dry ask, and then it has to come to city council, and it has to be the appointment.
Okay.
So let's make sure that's built into it.
Yes.
Because that's what's gotten us a little bit in trouble in the past. I think it calls out for that, but we haven't been bringing it to the city council for appointment.
And do we have clarity on the dates currently of our current planning commission and what their terms look like?
We're working on that right now.
Because I'd really love to understand just the impact this ordinance would have on our current council, or
And that's one
When?
thing I'm gonna work with Jeremy and Christine on,
that'd be great.
probably tomorrow or Thursday, the exact. So we want the planning commission members to be appointed in January, just like we are appointed in January. It's easier for the recorder, it's easier for everybody. Everybody comes in the same month and out the same month. It's like a revolving door.
Yeah.
The one
Kinda like a
question,
cabinet.
yeah, the one question that we have is, and I'll visit with you guys about
Where the
when-
current people are at.
where the
Yeah.
current people are at and when
Great.
we do that exit. And so, yeah, I'll get with you
So
too.
Dalton review plus kind of
Yeah.
the more specific.
Yeah, Dalton really needs to review
I
this
agree.
before we go any
Yeah.
further.
I agree.
And I think part of this needs to name out each one of those and highlight, okay, this is when their term ends.
See, if you look up here right now, we have our alternates do not have an ending date. When they were voted in, there was no ending date. When I visited with Dalton, he says that is a big issue.
Well, I think it has to be just like our spots. It has to be
I agree with
done.
that.
And I've only been here 2 years, but I think some people like, well, nobody wanted it, so you just re-upped. I think it's gotta be
Yes,
and then.
that's what
vote-
we're trying to
vote
move.
on it.
That's exactly, Laura, appreciate that. That's where we're trying to move in that direction. So thank you too. Appreciate it.
Okay, so Dalton review, you want to cut and dry end date to make sure that's clear. And then
On
understanding
how it will apply to the new ordinance.
what,
for example, Rulon, his was up in
September.
last year.
So that, and
But, and
that was my
so,
next point,
yeah,
is
so
how
the-
does it apply to the court members?
Correct.
Yes, yeah.
yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
No, that was great. We just need to make sure that it's in code first, and
Yes.
then we need to figure out how it applies to these, so we gotta make sure we got both. Okay.
And because that transition from where we're at today to there, just make sure there's no liabilities or issues
Especially if
with how we
somebody's
transition.
extended or somebody is, because I
Exactly.
think I saw some Septembers and August.
And are already.
Yeah, so they'll either be short or
Either
extend.
short or
Yeah.
extended.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect, appreciate the feedback,
Thank you, guys.
like it.
Good work.
Okay, we're done.
Good work. Okay, next we have, Chief, come on up for a sec. I think we had a meeting yesterday with the Utah League of Cities and Towns and the state of Utah. And we preemptively put out an announcement today that we're just going back to the old ordinance that we adopted in June.
Yep, that's correct. I worked on an ordinance that I was going to present, and I had gotten that close to being done. I was working on getting it finalized with Dalton yesterday. We were on the crunch time, and then we realized, okay, never mind, we don't have to do anything. We're just gonna go back to based on what the
The
state.
two zones, right?
Yeah, so Radio Hill and Malaya River. I would like to leave that, the ordinance that I come up with, would like to leave that, but I just put some language in there that addresses, and Blair was able to look at that and kind of give me some input as well. We really want to just address the state law and show that we're following that. And then the goal of that ordinance is to give me the latitude to, rather than like we did this year, we had an emergency meeting, we're making phone calls and gathering everybody up. It's already in place that everyone knows there's certain criteria that the fire chief is going to use to, if we do have a ban. Otherwise, we're gonna have a set map. We'll always use that map, and unless there's extreme circumstances due to weather, extreme fire conditions.
And I think in this particular case with the governor's emergency meeting he held, he gave you and I that power
Yes.
to make that decision without a city council meeting or vote. And so,
And I read the thing too. The only thing I have is when you have a lot of, the fire chief has one or the mayor has this, is that changes, and then like if you're like me and I'm a fireworks hater, then I'd be a bad fire chief or fireworks.
Right.
So you can't have it be so, it's really gotta come to us, because if you do it and ban it, we're gonna hear about it, not.
Well, I think it's more
Absolutely.
advice.
You know,
And it's
Yeah,
more,
it's
it's not
like-
like it's like I have the final say. It's made to put out there, because I think a lot of times people, and just after a lot of the comments that were presented this year, people seem to think that is just it, like, oh, they just hate fireworks.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
there's criteria that I'm basing this off. The reason we had that meeting was because I just had the hairs for 3 days over the weekend, standing up on the back of my neck, looking at the fires that we were fighting here in Tremont, and everyone across the state was dealing with, and they were just sporadic. And so,
yeah, I'm not saying that you wouldn't make the right decision.
No, I
It
know.
might always,
but
not always be you.
next guy,
we need
yeah.
feedback from all of you in the loop for sure.
Yeah.
And so, we'll get that ordinance out to you guys, you can take a look at it, and with this being in place the way that what happened yesterday, it's perfect, so we're good for the weekend, for the holiday.
Can we make it like a special note that it only pertains to the river and Radio Hill? I was driving when we did that last one,
Mhm.
and I was going through the mountains of Montana. And so I came away from that one going, did we ban it citywide? And then the comments that I got afterwards, I was like, oh, we must have banned it citywide. And
We did after the governor. did.
After the next day when the
We
governor.
couldn't do it.
Yeah,
Legally, we couldn't have, whether we wanted to or not, ban it citywide, till the governor had his.
I decided that being on the road and participating in these is horrible.
Sorry.
That's horrible. It's just-
We did throw
It
out
was so
today
On the website.
the ordinance and the maps, and it's on the city website. So everyone can see exactly where it is, and it's all, see, so if you click on that up there, it will go right into each map, and we're good to go. So, see, it shows the maps and everything.
So it's the Malad River, it's not 300 East then?
It's not, but my thought was the Malad River is vague. Your idea of the Malad River might be down, I'm not saying it is, but it might be down where the actual water is.
Oh, no,
right?
that's not
And
my
then
idea.
Some other people's idea might be up on the cliff side, right?
Correct,
And so
correct.
my thought is if we define that by a road, it's very specific and no one can deny that this is where the boundary is. And so that's what I'd like to come back and change and add to.
See, my thought would be 300 East,
Yeah,
because those homes are right up next
yes.
to the
But
Malad
then,
River.
but then you gotta go on our
On
side.
his
of the road,
side,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, well, yes,
And
and go all the way over on
and
your
clear
side.
to like
It's gonna keep growing.
Crossroads.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Yes, no, really, I think that's,
Right.
and I'm not a firework, I'm not a fan of fireworks, let's just call a spade here. But if people want to have fun, I think it's great. I'm so tired of picking up firework garbage in my yard. I've had windows shot out of my trailer. I had a window in my house blown out with fireworks. You're not the little kid that got shot out.
The river bottoms are a pain to put fire out.
They are.
There's
It's
not
very dangerous.
limited access,
That's true, I've never thought of that.
and you just, I mean,
For the people, the vehicles, I mean.
below Bow and that, I mean, you could drive a brush truck down there on the track, not below you, and then it comes right up, and
Yeah.
They're in
you see
houses.
these fires, it hits the vinyl fence, and they just, I mean, I'm surprised it's hot enough out there, vinyl fence might start to melt.
You're absolutely right. And that's the point, is that year by year, the conditions will change. And that's why I want to have some kind of parameter that people can say, okay, well, yeah, they're justified in canceling fireworks this year because it is hot, it is dry, there's low humidity, all those things, right? We live in a desert. And so, I mean, you guys have seen it, the sun melts siding all the time, melts vinyl fences. And so, in those conditions, we can look at it and go, yeah, maybe not.
I just come from Island Park, and it's been raining and everything, and they went into stage 2 because of the resource. There's no resources.
Yeah.
So,
And that's another.
and
part of
it's
the equation.
green, but if you have a fire, there's not enough people to come help, and and Idaho doesn't have a whole lot of fires, not like Utah does.
Yeah.
Well, and on this, I'll reiterate what I said at the beginning. There's a cost to freedom.
Mhm.
There is.
And sometimes it's that, if you're gonna light fireworks, then you gotta have a charged water source. You gotta have
We need to be smart.
supervision, you gotta have this. I don't want to get into where we're saying, you can't do that, we're not gonna let you do that, we're not gonna let you do that. Me personally, and I might be the only one, I don't know, I want to hear it go the other way. And in everything, on stuff like this, on the way we recruit businesses, I want to make us a very easy city to live in, work in, and to bring your business to. And it's kind of a recalibration of where I've been.
And I agree, and I think the ordinance, to go along with what you're saying, it holds the citizens accountable as well. It's not just because we're being held accountable, and also holds them accountable. If they're shooting off fireworks, they have to realize it's not a free-for-all. You will pay for damages caused to other people's property, right?
My wife's dad's a firefighter, and every year they were in charge of setting off the fireworks for the city. And we were down there one 4th of July, and one of the tubes tipped, and they went diving for cover, and
That's happened here.
but they still went
Oh,
on.
yeah, you see
Everybody on the stage
every year.
And I was talking to my father-in-law afterwards, and I'm like, wasn't that scary? He's like,
Remember
it
that?
happens every year.
Yeah, it does. It
Every
happens
other year.
every year.
And he's like, you know what? And then the show just goes on.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, it's kind of that rush. And it's like,
I support,
freedom's got a cost.
I think you gotta go through, because you got the river bottom, so you got like Tremont Street here.
Yeah.
I
It
support
changes.
going to a,
Defined boundary.
define the boundary,
Exactly.
my opinion, on both sides of the,
Yes.
all the way out, and whatever you think.
Doesn't the state define,
them off on back.
isn't the river technically defined in GIS?
It
Like
is,
where the
yes.
property line would be, so that
But I.
Property
you
owner
need to
that-
be so far.
But I think we need to, and in the ordinance, it talks about being 500 feet away from river bottoms, canyons, things like that. So, dry vegetation, so it keeps people away from those areas. We can't, we can set up a boundary, but there's those conditions will change inside that boundary as well. So people
And
again
probably
need to take
have
responsibility.
something in here about like what constitutes dry vegetation.
I mean, we have yards
If
that,
I got a dry spot in my lawn, does that mean I can't light up fireworks? Is it
well,
gonna
not a
be-
spot, but when you have a whole yard.
When you have a whole yard, like if it equates
There's
like
a whole
500
yard
square
of
feet.
me.
Yes,
That
yeah.
is massive.
We're back to the statute we're
So right now,
For
it's
this
like 100
weekend,
feet from
yeah,
river.
Yeah.
River.
yeah,
So Chief, you okay if we move on to the next one?
yes,
Okay,
please.
go ahead. I'm gonna stand up while you do
Oh,
that.
you're okay. Let's see, remodel. So, Lindsay, do you have the quotes? Do we want to get into the nitty-gritty of that, or do we just want to?
Yeah, you got it. I mean, we'd have something for that, I think that that's approved.
We've got 3 different quotes. One from C&K Construction, you.
This is
Home
remodel.
builders, yes, this is a remodel for the bathrooms and downstairs, our living quarters. Not related to those. And then also from Quad K, C&K Construction came back with the lowest. So we currently have 2 showers, 1 male, 1 female, for 4 people. And the goal is to increase staffing over time to accommodate call line, things like that. So if we do that, we're already pretty far behind. It's really difficult when we have a grass fire, things like that, for 2 people that are on the ambulance to come back and shower at once, because one's a male, one's female. It's easy if, if there's a female and a male there and they're both in the ambulance, they can do that. But if there's 2 male or something like that, or 2, it just gets difficult. So the plan is to increase the showers, bathroom, toilets, things like that, for the men 4 showers and for the females 2 showers, and make a bigger locker room style bathroom, and the same space that we have in the basement where the bathrooms are and the bedrooms, and to add on an additional bedroom. We had 1, so we have 5 bedrooms right now. We'd add 1 more, make it a 6th bedroom, just so we could have that space for growth. And then when we have paramedic students, things like that, in the meantime, they can come and stay and be able to sleep in the station as well. Or we have additional firefighters for things like fireworks and stuff. They need to stay overnight or nap.
So 6 will fit in the basement?
Yes, 6, yeah. And I actually gave Lindsay my little blueprint of what we had. But we'll obviously take some space. We have storage space down there. Blair knows what I'm talking about, but we'll take that space and convert it into a men's locker room and shower area, and then expand the women's shower and bathroom over into the current space where the men's is. So with that, we won't have any showers for, I think it was 8 weeks. And so they included some shower trailers that they would bring out and have on site for us to use in the meantime. And that's included in the quote. And it is, correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie, it's 100 grand. Yeah, about 100 grand, a little bit over. It's 101, so about 101,000 for that whole remodel. So that's the lowest quote. And the others are pretty close. And the next one, 104.5. One after that is a little bit more. I think it's 110, 103. So yeah, they're 103, 104. The next 2 highest. So we're going to save ourselves, a couple $1,000.
Are any of those local?
They are, yeah.
All of them?
C&K.
C&K
All of them
is
are.
local.
Yeah.
So this will take approximately 8 weeks,
Yes,
so we can plan on about 10 weeks.
probably.
I don't know if that's true.
You know how it goes, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
There's always a hiccup somewhere
There
and
is.
things like that.
unfortunately.
I think you'd be dinner.
Yeah.
That's a.
This was budget.
We're asking for a budget amendment for this. So,
Of 100 grand?
yeah.
Where are we going to get that from?
You're supposed to look and say, that's what yours has.
She's coming.
Ambulance, I'll let you answer. I have my short answer, but you're having a better answer.
Yeah, so the idea was to come forward so they could get going on it, knowing that we would come forward, or come back with a budget amendment to the council. The proposal would come out of capital projects, which right now has about 3.1 million budgeted, or not budgeted, but excuse me, balance in there.
Did we move any money forward from last?
We haven't gotten there yet.
Do you know how much was supposed to do? In other words, we're supposed to be around 3.5, 3.1.
And the amendment, we had the 1.1 million to be transferred over, but I think in reality, more like
700,000. So
So
we've got to get that we got to get down our money at least below the 35%.
Yes.
And the 700 would take us above that.
The 700 reduces us down to the 35%.
And how's the capital planning document?
We're working on it. I'm deep diving into fleet right now, talking with all the departments. And so I just met with police today. So it's coming along. Slowly, surely.
So I think that's my biggest concern is,
So this is different than the vehicle fund. So this is just the capital projects fund.
correct, but without knowing what all the other future capital projects are coming at us are, it's hard to say yes to the current ask is all, right? Because next week or in 2 weeks, we might be asked for something else. That's all, just trying to
No, it's a good point.
holistically look at the entire budget and not say yes because it's here today and then turn around and not be able to provide a sewer project or something that is required, you know, we also have
Yeah,
to
but
take care of our fire. I
Yeah,
get
at
it,
the same
you
time,
know.
I mean, it's a situation that, you know, would you want your wife or daughter being in that situation, how it is? And we have the known right now, and if something comes 6 months down the road, and we deal with that as it comes. If there's something that we know is on the horizon that maybe we can't bring public quite yet, that's different, but I think hanging on to that just for the sake of hanging on to it, I fully support doing that.
So it's just a discussion, but you still want to go ahead or not, and then bring it later for a budget amendment.
Yeah. Correct. Because, as you guys mentioned, if we say 8 weeks, probably gonna be more like 10, maybe 12 weeks. Just where if you say yes, then we have to go back and say, okay, yes to whoever we choose, and then they have to put it on their calendar and all that stuff, so.
Did we get any movement on the 2 ambulances?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. We have 2 people interested, but they're looking, they wanted what the lowest amount we could pay, they want to pay cash. One is wanting to pay.
50 grand a piece.
Yeah, I know, right? I wish, I so wish, but problem solved, remodel done.
Higher.
Yeah. But one offered $3,500, so $3,500 for one of them. And the other offered, I think, like around the same, like $30,000 for one of them, the older one.
30,000? did you
No,
say?
$3,000.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, what are you waiting for? Okay, 3, okay.
And so, I mean, we put them on, websites to sell old vehicles, and, old fire trucks and ambulances, police vehicles, things like that, consignment sites. Nothing's happened. I've looked to try to find vehicles that are the same year and model or make, I guess, like Fords, Chevys, and so I've tried to find them with the same amount of mileage and year. It's pretty slim to none. Everything is newer that's out for sale, and obviously they're going to get more money. And so I've talked with a couple of different ambulance companies that we've worked with in the past, and they're like, yeah, you're not going to get much for them, looking at maybe $6 grand at best. And so
what about going just a straight up surplus here? I mean, you could make a haul and hay truck out of either one of them.
Right.
And you can't buy a pickup for $3,500 in a diesel truck, so, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a regular
we can try that.
surplus. I mean, a lot of extinguisher companies bought ambulances to go do their service work or whatever.
That's where we put them on like surplus websites.
I mean, like a city, we're gonna sell these, I don't know. Do we do that with our vehicles?
To another city?
No, just
No, just like,
put them on like the county has one, like,
So
so,
Hiram was the first one that made an offer, but they didn't actually make an offer, they said we want an ambulance, I think they're really looking for, they're looking for a free one. And so they said, we want it, but I'm like, okay, make me an offer, and it never happened, so, there you go. But, these are, the individuals that made the offers, they are firemen. It's like, okay, I'll pay, they want to make a camper.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, stuff like that.
So,
Yeah, I think
That's what we do that.
yeah, so
I want to be clear that what I'm not, like, what I'm asking or saying is just holistically, capital as a whole is our stewardship, right? I'm not saying that I don't like the project.
Right.
Right, so just to be clear.
So what
I have
direction,
nothing against the project.
what direction do we want to give Chief Jarl off of this discussion?
I'm a yes, because I think, I agree with what you say on the thing, but I think that's why we want that slush fund for stuff like this, my opinion. I mean, if they're gonna continue, they gotta have, I mean, there's some laws and regs about all that too, so.
And if we don't have building in the new building in the near future, I think we're obligated.
Yeah, I think we're a ways away from that, obviously.
yeah.
So are you okay with us giving them a yes to put together a budget amendment to bring back to you guys for discussion?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Okay. Is that what you're looking for?
Is that what we're looking for? We're looking for budget amendment, or are we looking for permission to go ahead with construction?
Oh, we don't know. Does the process require us to have a budget amendment made before you can move forward?
I assume so.
Yes, no, and sort of. So,
Okay.
so, yes, you would like to have it budgeted, but it doesn't have to be budgeted. It's just that when we come back for the budget amendment, you know that it's there and what it's for. Does that make sense? Because there's already funds that are budgeted, but it was very generic. And so just when we come back and say, hey, we moved these funds from this line item to this line item, you know why.
And you'll do that in the future council meeting?
Yeah, in a future council meeting for the budget. So it's just so that there's no surprises when that budget amendment hits.
Okay. So what direction would you give him?
Folks that you're,
One thumbs up.
oh, you look like you have a question.
Well, I'm still just hung up on the same thing I've been hung up on for 3 years, which is 2 years, is overall capital. I cannot make decisions today without knowing where we're headed with full surety. So that's the hesitation. Because tomorrow we're going to be met with things that we have to say no to.
Right.
And we did it for this. And I think it's a great thing, but that's the only hesitation.
Oh, okay, I just was making sure I didn't.
So no, thank you. I appreciate you asking, but that's it. We just have to be stewards of that capital fund.
Do you have?
I
I'm
totally
not
agree
with
with that.
both. You know, I know there's probably a need. But what's gonna hit us tomorrow? What capital projects are we going to, I mean, we can't just start going like this with money. We have to.
But it
we are
is really
stewards.
dynamic. Because what, the 2 years I've been here, the priorities go. So it's dynamic. I just, it's hard to get,
And I,
in the perfect world, have all that out there, because all of a sudden something happens. We only need 3 of these that we needed 4 or whatever.
Well, and does investing $100,000 into that building now give us more time and actually solve some of our capital problem for the future? You know, but are we gonna put $100,000 into the building and then turn around and say, no, we have to have a new facility. We've outgrown this. There's absolutely no way. That $100,000 goes in the garbage, basically.
no,
right?
I totally understand,
So-
and I know I may be biased, because I'm over there, right, and I'm fighting for my guys to have the things they need.
Yeah.
But I absolutely understand that, and that's why I want to build as many bathroom spaces as we can, shower stalls as we can, as many rooms as we can, so we can be able to house the future of the fire department, not just the 4 we have now. We want to grow, and so we need to have the proper rooms, shower facilities, things like that, to be able to handle that. And so that's my whole goal. And we can sit back and talk about my goal to expand further beyond that, but,
I think
This is
this is
for now.
great, because I think there's some stuff that if you really make it, that we can.
I realize a new building is like realistically, even starting to break ground is like 10 years down the road. Like we're way from that. So I realize that's why I'm talking about this. That's why we want to do this. It's because this is, so to speak, the Band-Aid until we can get to the new building.
We had 3 council people say,
I can
yes, go
support it.
forward, and we have some concerns, and they're not yes or no, but just some concerns, so I would say that they can just move forward then.
Yes.
Thanks. And I think the next topic might
Yeah,
help
if
with some
in
of those
general,
concerns.
you're saying it's so that we can be in that building for longer,
Yeah.
then I'm all over, yes, supporting that.
Okay, now you can talk about fire building.
Yes, my next topic might help you with some of those concerns. So fire billing is something that we discussed doing. The council seemed like they like the idea of doing that, is to help recoup some of the costs of things that we do on a normal basis. Extrication of vehicles, traffic accident cleanup, things like that. We call it a wash down when they move up in oil, things like that. So we were going to move forward with it. There was, in reading the contract, I had a question I had for you guys. On one of the pages, it talks about billing for fire recovery for a structure fire. So a structure fire happens in a home, they go out and their limit would be $500 for a structure in a home, so privately owned home. And then that money comes from the insurance company. And I don't know why it's set up this way, but I looked at a couple different insurance contracts for people's homeowners insurance. And it says that the money, there's $500 that they will send to the homeowner, that then the homeowner is supposed to turn around, and when we bill for that, they're supposed to pay for that cost, that $500 with that check. Does that make sense? So the homeowner's given $500 by the insurance company when there's a structure fire, and then they're supposed to pay that to the city. So I just wanted to make sure that we were all okay with that before I signed that and follow through with that. And then for a commercial structure, that policy would be $5,000. And again, they would be cut a check from their insurance company, and then we would recuperate that cost. And so,
But if we were to do that ourselves, would we recover the 500 and the 5,000?
we would have to be billing, we'd have to do the same thing everywhere, basically bill the individual homeowner. This company, again, would be billing the insurance companies as well, and it's for citizens and Tremont. They wouldn't go any further than the 500 for a private residence or the 5,000, just like we would, right? They wouldn't take it to collections for anything beyond that. And so, let's say I get my $500 check and I'm like, sweet, I got $500, I'm gonna go spend it. I don't know why I got it, but I'm gonna spend it. So I go and I spend it, then I get the bill from fire recovery, and I'm like, what's this for? And I realized later that was to pay, that $500 came from the insurance company to pay the fire recovery for the service that was provided. Then that's be a case where fire recovery would say, okay, you have 90 days to pay it. If you don't pay it, they give you another 60 days or whatever. You don't pay it still, then they would send them to collections. And so I wanted to be full disclosure that you're aware of that before I sign. And
So will fire recovery just bill the insurance and bypass?
otherwise, they will bill the insurance. In this case, they can't. And that's what we talked about before. We wouldn't bill our residents for anything because we only want to bill the insurance. In this case, it's not like car insurance. It's written into their policy that the homeowner would be written a check. And so the only way for them to recover that, or us to recover that, is to bill the homeowner. It's just like if we were to, when they take an ambulance ride, they take an ambulance ride and we bill the insurance so far, and then once we get to that point, they have to pay their 20%, and we would bill them for that.
So this is a contract for someone else to do that billing?
Yes.
And what do we pay them?
They take a percentage of that, which is 22%. 22%.
Okay, so we used to do that billing here in the office. So can we still not do that? I mean, I think they can still do that. You just have to give them the information like we used to, and we can send out the bills.
Right.
And we don't have to pay that 20%.
Yeah, and we could, I mean, my only concern is that it might get lost along the way, just.
Well, how would it get lost?
I don't know, it seems like we were doing it. I know when I started here years ago, we were doing it, and then we stopped doing it.
When the
It
chief,
got
when
lost
that last
along the
chief
way.
came in, he
Okay.
stopped doing it.
Brady just
So
said we're
that's
not
what
doing
stopped.
it
Oh, we
anymore,
did?
but we
Yes.
did it before when all the rest of them were here. and-
Yeah,
And
he
you
billed
were
for
doing it.
everything that he could. And then as soon as Brady came in, it was, I don't think we can do that, we're not gonna do that anymore.
I mean, and the other part is that we're rebilling insurance companies and going through insurance companies for the cleanup and things like that.
Yes, if we had the information, we were. If not, we would send it to, because we were billing cities too. If it was like in Elwood, we bill Elwood.
Okay, and it's
Did you ever talk to LaQuа about this, the
No,
billing?
I didn't realize, as I said, we were doing it when I came on with the Quad, and I didn't realize that with Brady that had stopped it, so.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't send the cities bills, so we lost a whole year of accounting and everything.
Right, and they would do all that, these guys would do our rodeo standbys, they would do all that stuff, and so it would be not us necessarily paying them, they would just, I guess, getting it off the top, so to speak.
But we still wouldn't get payment in full.
Right, so, that's what I saw that we weren't doing those things, that I've been
It adds up.
billing for those services, and so I
And
was
so
trying to recover that.
Taking 5%.
I mean.
They are.
You're talking that much.
So, I mean,
Revamp the building.
That's a lot,
It's gonna
22% is a lot.
So you're giving this other company the same exact information that we could give in-house. And in-house could do this, because they were doing it before. And we're not gonna lose 22% of the funds coming in doing it in-house. To me, it doesn't make an ounce of sense to send it to somebody else that we have no control over, we have nothing to do with, when we have capable people right here in our own city that will do this, and we're doing it.
We're doing it, yes.
We're doing
My question
it.
is, who's gonna do it, and is there a process in place? Because these guys.
There
have
is a process in place. I've talked to several
You guys
people,
just have to get it to the city.
To us, and we.
and then they have the paperwork they fill out.
It's not us anymore.
No, but it's okay, you get it.
The fact of the matter with this is our recording system that we have, we finish the report, as soon as we hit submit, this information goes to the state for the calls that we run, they know that we ran a call. So if we run 3 calls, they know that, right, whether they're medical or fire calls. And then the information goes directly to them as well. And that's why I'm asking, is there a process in place to get that information here? Are we walking the paperwork over to you guys? Because if we do calls over the weekend, first thing in the morning, we've already clicked that button, Friday night at 2 a.m., Saturday morning at 3.
Right, it'll just have
And
to
it's
go,
automatically there.
it'll just have to go to you that goes,
Right.
you bring them over.
Yes.
Why can't they bring it over to the city office, or we have technology now?
And that's what I'm
Push
saying.
the computer button and send that information to our ladies
Right.
in the office. They did it before. I trust them.
Okay.
I think that's what, and we're not losing 22%. That's revenue
I'd feel better if we were in
That-
that 5-7% area. like
that would help,
That's what I
even with,
thought. If
even
it
with
was
the addition.
5, it would be.
Right,
22 is a lot.
yeah.
This
a
is
lot.
just even a good idea.
Because I would think they do probably get things that here would be a little bit less, where they do it every day, but still, 22% is a lot. And that's probably what they charge everywhere.
Yeah, that's what they try to do.
But let's not drop this, let's get this going, because if
Well,
we
that's what I'm
haven't
saying,
been doing that, we need to get going.
We've lost, I think,
So much.
just this year, we've lost, I'm trying to remember the number, I think it was.
It was like 20, 25,000.
Yeah, and out of it was 27 altogether. They charged us $2,000 out of 27,000, 2,000 out of 27,000. So we made 25, they made 2,000. And that was, I think it was 43 calls, what it was, that we had, that were just traffic accident related calls that we could have billed for. And the average cost of that was like $600.
And
recovery.
That there pays for your own.
Yeah.
It does if we keep it in-house.
If we keep it going, but that's my only concern, is that these guys are in place, they're going, they're ready. Are we gonna get bogged down doing other things in the city.
I think we need to give our ladies a try.
Okay.
I think it'd be more in you'd have the ball more than the
Right.
ladies here. If they just get it, they'll do theirs. I mean, that's the way they did before. But it's more of a job for you and your
Yeah,
guys.
your officers and people are gonna need to turn in the information. You're gonna make sure, you're gonna have to make sure it gets here. If they drop something, then.
There might be some,
Which is probably a
Paper,
meeting
paper.
between the two.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say, we need to meet with.
For the
whoever
process.
We're gonna have
Yeah.
to do that,
Get
so,
a document.
so we can have the process, and that's why, as I said, my biggest concern is the ball gonna get dropped, whether it be on our end or the other end, where now we click a button and it's gone. If we can set something up that's.
do they have a way
That
to
would be great.
go into the same thing you got? The
They-
city should be, have a free recording for that.
Michelle's email.
I bet we can write an API that does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know somebody that can do that?
It's just data transfer.
Probably already have it set up.
These two will have a
To
solution.
go into,
I mean, we were in there one time.
what's
They-
your, I can't remember your,
The software,
yeah,
trend,
image trend.
yeah.
So the city should be able to get into image trend, right? I mean, they
I would
would in other
They may
places.
even have an API.
We
Yeah.
could,
I would think
we
so.
used to get in there, yes.
Yeah, they'll just send us-
In there.
So,
Just figure
and
out a way to do it.
all they would need was the fire part. They could code it.
Yeah.
If they said it was a fire or a hazmat, they could, and they don't need to worry about the ambulance code.
Okay.
So for the next
If
2
we're
weeks,
willing to
we
do that.
work on that idea of getting the data, work with the front office and the treasurers and all them, all those that collect money, and seeing if we can get something set up and if it will work.
Make it work.
And then we'll have the discussion again. see
And
if it's
I think
working.
we can go back to July 1st, can't we? Start the billing from then. I
I
mean, we
would
could do it
assume
from,
so, yeah.
because all that information's in there, you just have to get it. So I
That
say
would be
we
even
start
better
from
if we
July
can go back
1st.
from,
Yeah.
because
I
these
agree
guys
with
would
Shari.
start from now.
I think it needs to stay in-house.
Okay,
If we can.
Sweet.
okay. Thank you, chief.
Yeah.
Thanks for all you do.
Good job.
Okay, the next one shouldn't take too long. It's a generative AI policy. I've been working on this for a while now. And I do. And all this policy states is it gives any contractor that works with us, city council, any employee that works for the city, direction on how they can use AI. Okay, and it has very specific language in it about what you can and can't put in it, because what you put in is going out to the world, and so you can't be putting private information. It has all that built into it. This is all built around Utah State Code. It's been vetted with Dalton, and we've created an employee handbook that each employee can therefore go through and look at, and it even has circumstances, and it will say, okay, I can do this, but I can't do this. And most importantly, what's built into this is what I call the human touch. Nothing can go out of AI unless it's been read or touched by the person that's working on it. So I can't say, put this together and send it to Bo. I have to read it. I have to validate it. Okay, I'm responsible for that data that's going out. And so that's what this policy is
It's smart to
opening
do
up.
anyways.
Yeah, yeah. So this policy is going out so we can finally start to use AI in our city. And we put a date on it of August 15th because Dalton wants a little bit of time to go through and validate all of the language in the handbook to make sure, and something to do with procurement. Lindsay? Yeah, I think it has something to do with the language of contractors or people that work for us and use AI, what restrictions they're held to. And he wanted to make sure there was a little bit better language in that. So that's what this is. It's an opportunity for us. And this all, you know what, this all stemmed from our meetings in St. George.
Yeah.
So all this comes from what they asked us to do. Any questions?
I mean, just in general, without going into all of the, the details of what was there, because I think it's really well done. If it's, generally speaking, if it's an online public document already, you can upload those documents and ask questions, right? It's not gonna, preparing for city council meeting and having it give you liability questions or things, there's nothing wrong with that, or reviewing code, right? It's already a public document. And those types of things, I mean, we should be using it to speed ourselves up because it can gather context so fast.
I used it for the projectiles thing that sent to Cynthia.
The resolution
Yeah.
template.
It has great, and that's the fun thing is we can drop in, and once we get the city up and running, we can put in resolution and ordinance templates. And then you can say, okay, create an ordinance using our Tremont City standard.
It did
There it
that
is.
now. And I found that, like, when I say, I want it based on this, from this vantage point, and include this, and consider, you know, state law, federal law, and all that stuff. And I read it, and I was like, oh. We all like 30 minutes. And then kind of went through and said, no, that's, made some changes. All right.
No, I think it's great.
Okay, so that's what that is. The last subject before we move on is, we're getting there, you guys. I know everyone's so excited, well, no one's more excited about this than I am, but been going on for a long time. Can you bring, oh, there it is, and it's way too, Control Plus. Can I make it bigger?
That says make it.
That's the one's going bigger, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And just so you know, the left side of this is AI. Control Plus. There we go. That was, all right, good. So what we have here is our Tremont. I keep saying, well, we have these overarching strategies we want to do, and I'm like, we need a name. So I called it the Connection Plan. If you guys want a different name, call it out. But I thought this just matches everything we're doing, okay? So the Connection Plan, it has our mission, our vision, and our roles. The mayor and the council is to set direction. City manager and staff are to carry it forward, and the citizens are to give true input. That puts all of this on a horizontal relationship, so we're all working together, okay? We've talked for 4 weeks now, or 4 times now, on different things that we can do on each one of these pillars. What I want to do now is pick 1 or 2 from each pillar. For the next, we have 20 minutes or so. And then we will build our final document off of that. Okay, this is to give the staff some direction in how to work into the future for the next year at least. And so I'm excited about it. So connected to the good life. Okay, here's the challenges we heard. Few amenities and limited recreation, concerns for youth and young adults. Preserving small town identity, loss of agricultural way of life, aging and neglected park system. Outcomes were after year-round places to gather, play, and belong. Facilities and public spaces that keep pace with growth. And beautification that builds shared pride, gateways, downtown parks, neighborhoods. Over on the side are some candidates or some goals that we can work on. In your opinion, which 1, 2, or 3 of these are the most important? Adopt a citizen-centric generic plan for 2026. Of course, that's mine. And sustain and grow our signature connection events. Multiple sport recreation complex. Bring the parks system back to standard. Launch neighborhood connection programs, a downtown citywide beautification push, honor our veterans.
Especially those last two.
Oh, those two is where I'm at.
Mayor, I have an update for the first one.
Okay.
If you don't mind, we just got our scope of work approved by UDOT, and I'm putting out RFPs hopefully by tomorrow. So, and then they have until August 21st to turn in an RFP. So I've got the deadline, and then you council will be getting the RFPs, and you will be the ones that will be selecting the firm that will be generating a general plan.
So if I can use this as an example, let's say, for instance, we say we want this one and just these 3, okay? All right, now And I'm not saying that's what we're doing, but I'm just saying, if we select those three, now we're gonna go back to the city employees and say, as a city council, here's where we wanna be in a year from now. We'll set some goals and we'll give it to them, and each department goes after that. And it gives them some direction. So planning, we'll go through, make sure that that plan is up to date. They'll use parks, they'll use finance, they'll use all the different departments to make sure that plan is brought together. You know, a downtown citywide beautification push, our Main Street Committee going, think of how many departments that touches, okay? And then honoring our veterans, okay? How many departments does that touch? We'll ask each department then to go and set some goals to push forward on all three of those. That's the plan.
Okay.
And now, instead of all of these things that they can be doing, we have some clear direction in, this is what the city would like to see us do over the next year. Does this make it a little clearer?
I think something that excites me, and I don't want to complicate this conversation at all, but I think there's a lot going on in all of these.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, so as we're looking at prioritization, I think really what you're saying is just really make sure we're pushing on those. But I mean, I'm just thinking through, like, you know, the Main Street Committee that's already meeting, and there's committees forming and it's happening, and you know, there's already RFPs, yeah, you know what I mean? So that's awesome and the community events that are happening already, I think will continue in motion. Mugs and Bananas and summer concerts and heydays, I don't think we have any anticipation of stopping those.
And we can put 4 on here.
Yeah,
it's up to you guys, you know.
Like the veterans thing, obviously we need to do that, but it's not a big stretch to do that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
You know, we already have the park that's pretty nice. The new mural adds to it. You do the veterans thing. Maybe the school deal is that, but it's probably the veterans that we could coordinate that with them to teach. To go.
I'm with you. We're going to be doing all these anyway.
Yeah.
But which ones do we want to give the staff? Okay, guys, you got the green light. Go for it.
I think we need to at least do the feasibility on that complex. I mean, I look at how much, and I know it's got a big upfront price tag, but man, the cities that are doing it, you want to talk about keeping property taxes low or non-existent, we've got to bring revenue in. The more revenue that we can bring in from the outside, I mean, tell me a citizen that wouldn't love to see their property taxes go away. You know?
Or at least stay status quo for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd ever.
Bare minimum.
But at least it puts the ball in the court to start the dialogue.
Yeah.
You know, and start going.
And I won't push any faster than we have to, but if we keep dragging this on, it'll be next year before we get this done. So
I think the first one is kind of drives it all over everywhere anyway, doesn't it? Don't we have to have that done?
We need to have the
that's a
general
big
plan.
one. Yeah.
That's a must.
Yeah.
And I really like the Main Street thing. I think that thing's that's going to do a lot for us over the next few years.
And that is.
Well, and funding drives a lot of these decisions, and the funding is sitting in the account ready to spend on Main Street. It's available.
So I would ask you, out of those two, there's 4 more of them there. The veterans, we're not saying the veterans, we're not honoring them, because we do, and I think we do a wonderful job of that.
I do too.
And so the last thing I want is to go out of this meeting and say, well, they don't honor the veterans. We do. We love our vets, and we love our service people. But launching a program, put the effort into the feasibility study or sustained growth, connecting events, or bring parks back to standard. I think that was pretty well done with your parks plan, and I think that's going to melt into the first one, don't you?
That'll set the standard for the future, and then it's up to council. I mean, however we spend the funds, but this, as we go forward, it's still going to be up to council on what's the priority of council. Is it going to be the this or this or this, or, because the more priorities we have, the funds are spread over that many more priorities. So that's just a word of caution as we move forward with too many.
So you good with these two, or you want to add any more? What do you say?
Well, I feel like one of the sports things needs to be in there. I mean, the North Park and the J.D. Stevens Park, the lights are not working. I was out there watching the game the other day and we had to move to another park because the lights weren't working. I feel like that's an important thing that we need to get taken care of.
Okay.
I think what's frustrating with me at the parks is we sit, and you allude to it all the time, it's like where your priorities are. Our priorities are there, but the bigger priorities take all the money. You know what I mean? And that's what's hard.
It is.
Well, and really under this, I mean, it's the citizens that are gonna drive the priorities.
And what's been fun is the citizens have driven these priorities, because we're going on a year and a half, almost 2 years of meetings on this subject now, so.
I think downtown, I'm frustrated. I think we need to on the gas with that.
All right.
And I want to see Christmas downtown again.
Yeah.
It's coming.
It's coming. They
Yeah, big time.
She has a plan.
It's nice, dude.
Connecting to each other. Challenges we've heard: intolerance and social division, low civic engagement and education, transparency deficit, distrust when data isn't shared. I'm going to tell my story I told you today. I was watching a show, and this commentator said, when you start to tell secrets in the government, you have conspiracy. So why not just throw everything out there and there's no conspiracies? That to me is the answer. We're going to throw it all out there.
It's being transparent.
Yeah.
Except closed session.
Except
Closed
closed
session.
session. And we'll make sure we stay focused on that. Social toxicity and science on the good local social media, preserving small town identity. That's coming from two of you now. A modern city website on the digital front door.
That's right, that's there.
Released today.
Mhm.
Any citizen can get on our website and go to it and start playing with it. I'll talk about it more later. I'm so excited about that one. High dignity communication. Everything we should do should be on a level 6, 7 dignity scale. As employees, as people with each other, and as citizens, we should all be treating each other well. A deliberate posture of celebrating and sharing the good, growth guided by a current adopted comprehensive plan. We've kind of picked that up in the first one. So let's pick two of these. Launch a public transparency dashboard for 2026.
You know what? If we were to connect to that citizen portal.ai and just have a tab there,
that'd be the portal.
They'll do the work for us.
Yeah, for sure. Stand up a resident communication platform by 2027. Honestly, the new website we're rolling out has a communication platform built in.
Yep.
So make the dignity index how we operate.
That's important.
Launch a Share the Good campaign. Build trust with our Latin community, and I'd say with all of our communities. And regular town halls with real notice. And yeah, and that's a good point. We need to get another town hall going for sure.
Do you know, I thought about this, and I thought about Zach when I read this. We have some neighbors that are of a different nationality. They're great people, don't get me wrong, but they don't feel connected. And when I was reading this, I thought, oh, Zach, a cultural event where they can bring their own cultures and their food, and it doesn't have to be just one culture at a time, but a cultural event. I don't know. This is your ballpark. I'm just saying, after talking to them this weekend, and I don't feel connected. I don't feel like they make us food, and it's really, really good. You know.
There's already talks about that. We had the fundraiser over the weekend,
Okay.
and there's already starting a plan for a large multicultural event.
Awesome.
My arms, look at that.
Okay.
We had the coolest support from this community over the weekend for the Iglesia Ebenezer.
I've got one.
It was
Good.
amazing.
It was just
So-
something they said to me and I thought of you. So
Yeah.
thanks, Zach.
So, well, what would you say on these?
I don't think it matters.
I think the launching the transparency dashboard is high priority.
I do too.
The stand-up resident communication platform, I don't think we can check that because it's done.
Yeah. that was already-
So it will become part of it. The dignity index, I think that's vital. I think that's an
Yes.
important one.
That needs
It's a
to be
good
there.
campaign, build trust with our other communities and regular town halls. I like that one too. Which one of those would you choose as a priority for the year?
I personally would launch a Share the Good campaign. You get what you focus on.
The what, Timmy?
Share the good, the focusing on, you get what you focus on, you know, and the more people are thinking about and looking for the good, the better off the community becomes. And I think what starts here and here translates out to results in every other aspect. And so that would
I
be
think
my
the town
vote.
halls are key.
Let's put that in there too then. I think that's really great. Are you two okay with that?
Yep, that's good.
Okay.
I mean, I do feel like the dignity is really important too, but I think we're good with those three.
And we'll keep pushing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
that's
dignity, I
really-
think we need to.
That's
get.
really
And
important.
can I just tell you that,
Especially-
in talking to the owner of that citizen portal, we would be the first city council in the country to post, to put a link to that for, like, to proactively do it.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
We'll do that. We'll look at it. Okay, let's see if we can get through this last one and then maybe, excuse me, this third one, then we'll take a few minutes on the last one. Did you?
No, I said
Okay.
then we'll just take a break.
Okay, pillar 3, safety, stability, family security. Challenges we heard, aging facilities, domestic violence, bullying, and youth safety. Scaling safety with growth, limited economic development, workforce development gaps. Outcomes were after fire police capability that stays ahead of growth. A multi-year plan for scaling safety with population and risk. Peace at the neighborhood level, trust with public safety, neighbors who know and care for neighbors, and economic diversification. So some of them we have here is a deliberate economic development strategy, recruit. So we have that, a multi-year public safety scaling plan, that's staffing shifts and equipment to keep PD, fire, and EMS ahead of population growth instead of always behind it. Make our public buildings look more like we mean business. Give youth construction outlets to cut vandalism. Keep critical infrastructure ahead of growth and close workforce gaps. I could check every one of those.
I think those top three are.
You
Joe,
know,
when you talk about the public buildings looking like we mean it, when we did the walk around with Main Street, the two ladies that I started walking with, as we started, she stopped me and she says,
From the state, right?
yes, from the state. She says, so what would you do with that building right there? And it's talking about the Civic Center. And I said, well, if we have the money, we'd like to build a new one. She says, don't you dare. There's character, this is your heritage. She goes, there's changes you can make. And I says, well, the next option we have is maybe we just paint it. Boy, I was shut down
Oh,
so
yeah.
fast and so quick.
Yeah.
And they says, before you do anything, you better call us first and we will help you make that look better. So, hey, if you want to do anything,
Yeah, they have resources.
Yeah. Well,
on their knowledge.
some grants.
There are
There are
grants
some
we
grants and
can
stuff,
give.
yeah.
And she says,
I was
there's
like,
grants we.
oh, hey,
But I really think that public building part of that here can fall into the Main Street.
Oh, absolutely. And
So-
that's what she was
yeah.
talking about, tying it all in with Main Street.
So do you guys, I think the economic development strategy is vital.
I think those
Yes.
top three are.
We've
Okay.
got to have the first
A
one.
multi-year safety scaling plan,
Mhm.
that one.
Yes.
Yeah, because it impacts so much
Yeah.
of our budget, that
Mhm.
part does.
And the second one, I think, I'll put that down. I think it's going to be lumped in with the Main Street one from earlier.
The third
Now,
one? Yeah.
Yeah, and then one of the other things that they mentioned was that, I've heard from a lot of people, we need to give our kids some things to do when they're downtown. So that, and so we'll have to have a talk on that and see where we have
See
with
where
that.
we go.
All right, well, we have a few more minutes, so let's see if we can get through this last one. That one only took us 2 minutes.
I won't say a word.
If anything last time.
Connected to positive well-being, high mental needs, high mental health needs, substance abuse epidemic, small and fragile economic base, water supply and sustainability, fiscal capacity and constraints. Outcomes would be meaningful access to mental health, tracking lived physical, mental, and social well-being over time, fiscal transparency for the residents that they can act on, fund capital facilities plan with consistent capital savings.
That's a good one.
So, of these, I won't scroll down anymore, so I'm hoping that's all.
Yeah, there's
Okay,
securing water.
okay, build a real financial plan for the city, finish the utility rate studies and asset depreciation schedules, land the trails funding, open the books before the hard asked questions, meaningful access to mental health and sustained support. And the last one is secure our water future.
I think the 3 that you got flagged and the water feature.
I know I vote for number 2.
What's that?
Oh.
Oh,
And-
utility rate studies coming.
Yeah.
I mean, they're working on it right now.
We gotta
I
have the
think
financial plan and I know.
we do, and I do think there is so much that we need to help with the mental health and substance of support in this, not in just our community, but everywhere around. It's a sad thing that they're going through right now. And it's pressure that's being put on families, and I think, that's an important one.
Oh, there's a bunch of them in this one.
You can almost check every single one of
We need
these off.
water.
Yeah.
And the water thing, they're watching it really close, but I think we could check every one of them. I don't know how you're gonna pick one, so you go ahead and do it.
Okay, well, thank you. Let's take a break. I will put together a final plan for our next meeting for you guys to look at and approve. And I will try to put some what we call SMART goals with these. Okay, saying, okay, this is where we want to see it get. And then when I say that, all I'm saying is I'll put the numbers. You guys have to decide.
Okay, that sounds
Yeah, we
good.
get 6 minutes.
And we don't run up.
And that's what I have.
We don't get
Okay. We're gonna get started as soon as Councilman Lewis and Councilperson Boken are ready. Maybe I guess.
Sorry.
Appreciate everyone coming out to our city council meeting. Okay. Call to order.
Is that me?
Thank you.
We're calling the meeting to order. Say if you're present. Councilmember Boyle. Yes. Councilmember Westergaard.
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis.
Yes.
Councilmember Dex.
Yes.
Councilmember Boca.
Yes.
Thank you.
Have a quorum.
Yeah, we're quorum.
Okay.
We'd like to welcome everyone out tonight. We are going to start off by having an invocation, and I met Pastor Granda at the little event they had this last Saturday.
Little big event.
Little big event, and anyways, it was nice to meet him, and I've asked Councilman Lewis to introduce him and talk a little bit about that event for just a second. if you would.
Yeah, Eusebio Granda is a good friend, and we're grateful to have him in the community. And their church is the one that actually burnt down there at Raumkeller Tire or next door. And the community rallied in a big way on Saturday, and there was large attendance. Supposed to go till 1 or something. It was still going at like 5:30. We were still cleaning up, and so just really neat to see the community And we appreciate you and hope you feel loved, and this community cares a lot about you guys.
So we've invited the pastor to do our opening prayer, and then Councilperson Euler will lead us in the pledge. Go ahead, you can come right up here to the podium.
First of all, I want to say thank you for the invitation. Thank you for giving the opportunity to be here today. My English is not so good, but I promise next time, if you guys give me another time, I'm going to say it in English. I got a problem to translate my Espanol to my English, but I'm going to do it in Spanish today.
Okay.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you. Gracias, Señor. En esta tarde te damos por este momento de estar juntos en este lugar, Señor. Te agradecemos, Padre bendito, por la oportunidad de conocer tantas personas, Señor, y que ellos tienen un sentimiento bueno acerca de nosotros, Padre bendito. Yo te ruego misericordia por cada uno de los que están en este cuarto, y que todo lo que se vaya a llevar a cabo en este lugar sea con el propósito, Señor, primeramente de alabarte a ti, de darte las gracias y estar unidos como comunidad. Yo te alabo, yo te bendigo en esta hora y te doy gracias. Gracias, Padre, gracias, Hijo, y gracias, Espíritu Santo de Dios. Amén y amén. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll go ahead and excuse them. They're going to another event. The reason we moved this to 6 o'clock tonight is because there is a multicultural event celebration for 250 years of the United States over at the fairgrounds. And so anyone and everyone's encouraged to go to that. Go ahead.
Okay, please stand where you can pledge allegiance with me. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd entertain an approval of the agenda. We can, as part of that, I believe we can drop discussion letter E on the fireworks. That's something that we will not need to discuss.
I'll make a motion with that. Dropping that.
Okay, a motion by, we have a motion by Councilman Jex and second by Councilman Westergaard. Huh? All in favor? If you would say yes.
Yes. Yes.
Any opposed? Say no. Thank you. Okay. We have a years of service award. Oh, do we have any declaration of conflict of interest?
No.
Okay, with that, let's go on to a really good part of years of service award for, is it Tiana? Tiana.
Yes.
Okay, Tiana Price, 5 years with the fire department. Come on up.
It's okay. My daughter's name is Kiana, and she gets called Kiona quite often. I understand, I get it, so she gets it too. So this is Tiana Price. She is very awesome. So Tiana started working as an EMT at the age of 16. She was hooked from the beginning. And so she, in the past 5 years when Tiana started with us, she came in with no certifications. She was a true volunteer, came in, learned, grew. Blair might remember when she started. She since, in those 5 years, has gotten her EMT basic, right?
No,
Or you started with advanced.
So I had my advanced.
She had her advanced, and since then has got her Fire 1 and 2 certifications, hazmat certifications, and is now a part-time firefighter with us, and has gone through nursing school and is now a nurse, and also has going through the bridge program to be a paramedic. And so Tiana is a great asset to our community and our department. We're extremely grateful for her. There's a couple questions we asked her about herself to kind of get a little bit of a personal feel for her. Oh, and before I do that, She has two awesome little boys and an amazing husband that supports her in doing this job and being a part of this department. We want to thank them for all that they do and allowing us to have her when she's here with us.
And she has her sister here as well.
Oh, yes.
My brother, yes.
And so some of the questions that we asked her was, what places have you lived? And so she's lived here in Utah and in Idaho. And then what genre of music is on your most listened to playlist? And she says, it depends on her mood. And I'm right there with you. I think most of us are. And then what is the first thing you would buy if you won the lottery? She says she wouldn't, she would invest. And so Tiana has, like I said, she's very sharp, and we appreciate having you here, Tiana. Thank you for your research.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I can shrink.
Thank you, Tiana, for making it a great department. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now's the citizen engagement portion. This is when the general public can come up and give any comments. We would ask you to keep your comments. Do not comment on anything on the strategic business because you will get the opportunity later to do so. So this would give you an opportunity to talk about anything to do with anything in the city. You get 3 minutes. We ask you to follow the dignity scale and treat everyone with the same, with a high level of respect as we expect to treat you. So with that in mind, you get 3 minutes at a time. So we didn't have anyone on the list when I looked out there. So anyone is welcome to come up and share your comments. Okay, seeing none, we will move on to the next portion of our business. We didn't really have any unfinished business from workshop. That's like the first in a while. At least while I've been here, I think you guys might have accomplished it last time, but.
Yeah, we started at 4. So.
Yeah. So, but we got some good things. I felt really good about our workshop. Thank you everyone for making this such a great experience here on our Tremont City Council. Consent agenda. Any council person may request an item be removed for separate discussion. So we'll have the approval of the minutes of July 7th, 2026. Approval of resolution number 2646. That's the agreement for bailiff services. And approval of resolution number 2647, the generative AI policy.
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, we have an approval by Councilperson Westergaard and a second by Councilperson Lewis. Let's have a roll call vote, and let's start right here with you, please.
Councilmember Lewis.
Yes.
Oh, you do that. That's
Councilmember,
right.
I mean, you can.
No.
Councilmember Jacks.
Yes.
Councilmember Boca. Yes. Councilmember Boyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Westergaard.
Yes.
That's what happens when you miss one time, right? But I did listen to all of you guys.
Well, I was like, no, we kind of got, it was screwy.
That's all right. Okay, this is the strategic business portion of our meeting. What we'll do here is we'll bring up the ordinance or the discussion item. We'll have a little bit of a discussion on it. All of these items have been discussed in the previous meeting. And then we will open it up for the public to come up. They can have up to 3 minutes each to talk and discuss with the city council anything to do with that specific subject. So we're going to start out with letter A, discussion and consideration of adopting ordinance 2611, discharge of projectiles by Councilman Jacks. Do any of you have any further concerns, any further discussion on this item that was brought up?
I thought we hashed it pretty good.
Okay, public, is there anyone from the public that would like a minute?
Give them a copy of that to each of the council members. My name is Lane Wilding. I do have a couple of comments I'd like to make relative to this proposed ordinance. I am a little concerned in that, as a member of the public, at first I saw this showed up on the agenda, trying to find a copy of it so that I could review it and actually think about what you're proposing was a bit of a challenge. I've highlighted here in this document the red items or things that I would like to briefly discuss. The first one is we talk about a discharge of a projectile discharged by the dictionary says to release, send forth, or to allow something to escape. Under the first item there, you talk about this new ordinance is going to apply to private property. There's no mention about the public property, parks, areas, and so on. In the old ordinance, it said within the Tremont city limits. Do you want to reconsider that and say, do we want to put this to the whole Tremont city limits? If it's only on my private property, that means I could technically go to the park with my bow and my arrow or my BB gun and shoot and do whatever I want there. Just a different interpretation of that particular requirement. So I would like you to think about, is that, and do you want to consider public property in this ordinance, or is it just going to be strictly private property? The next item is individuals under the age of 16. It will be interesting to see who's going to verify and how you're going to verify and track that. How is that going to be forced? The owner of the property, since the ordinance only applies to private property, if I or one of my kids or one of the neighbor's kids go out onto the public park and do damage, is that going to, who's going to be liable for that and repair that? Obviously, if it's in my property, I'd be responsible, but now I'm on a private park and we don't have this ordinance now covering public parks. Do we care about that? Would be a question.
I got a question right in the middle. Doesn't it say private property?
It does say private property, but
Would
the old
that
one,
exempt the public property? I mean, I'm just asking.
no, I have no idea. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just saying from my perspective, the old ordinance said within the city limits of Tremonton, which would include both private and public properties. Okay, that's all I'm just saying is you've now restricted this just to private property. It does no mention about public property, so I don't know for sure how that's going to be handled.
Well, let me address that. This ordinance is designed to give private property owners the right to discharge something on their own property.
Agreed.
It does not give anybody the right to do that in a public park, on Main Street, in a roadway, anything like that.
Okay.
This is just for private property.
Okay.
And it calls that out very specifically.
Yes, it does.
Do we need to say anywhere in there, and does not apply to public property or that's.
We can, I don't have any argument one way or the other on it. I wrote it for private property, and I think it's defined as private property. If it's not private property, then this does not apply. So that's, but.
And some good catches.
If you want to amend it, I don't have any hardware with that either.
Okay, that's, like I said, I read it and this was my thought process. So I want you to understand that. Things that are not going to cause a noise that your neighbors are going to hear really bothers me, because most everything we do will cause a noise that will go across my property boundary into my neighbor's property boundary. And we have that now as listed as part of this ordinance, that noise from the discharge must not be audible beyond the property line. I'm not sure how you're ever going to satisfy that requirement. And I would suggest that maybe that ought to be taken out of that. Things that, projectiles that might be used would be shooting fireworks off. That's a projectile. My 3 minutes are up. Mayor, can I have an extended period of time?
Yeah, and that in itself is covered under the ordinance on the fireworks.
Okay.
And so, and those fireworks cannot be launched anytime except during the period the ordinance allows for. So I think we're okay on the.
Okay.
Good catch on that though, but you cannot shoot off fireworks any other time but that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have
Just go through your rest of your things.
I have an air cannon that I like to launch candy up in the air for my kids to, and, grandkids to go collect.
Let me know when.
We like to break open the light sticks and put them in the air cannon at night and shoot those up, and that's great because you get all these light sticks coming down. Kids love that, they'll go around and pick them up, but again, it makes noise that will violate this criteria.
Well, right now, you can't do that.
But I understand right now I can't. And so, and now we're coming up with a new criteria, a new ordinance.
I'm trying to give you the right to do that.
Understand it, but I'm saying that cannon makes more noise and will go across the boundary into my neighbor's yard. And that item B says noise from the discharge must not be audible beyond the property line. I'm gonna say, right now, I'm going to violate that criteria of this new ordinance.
As long as your neighbors don't care, we don't care either. That's the point. And the point of it is that you have the rights on your property. You don't have the right to force your neighbor to listen to your rights,
Your noise.
Yeah, your noise. And if after 10 PM, if I don't want the neighbor's music disturbing my sleep, that's why we have noise ordinances on stuff like that. This is to, hopefully you've got a good relationship with your neighbors, and if they enjoy seeing all that come down and they recoup some of that candy and stuff like that, and then it's not an issue.
That's great. Like I say, my reading this was to look at it from a different perspective and say, would these be potential problems? So I appreciate the ordinance and the change, I really do. I got BB guns, I got grandsons that like to shoot BB guns. I have an atlatl in the dark, which is a primitive weapon for throwing spears. And the school is a cool thing, activity. So there are a lot of things that I put down here, things that I like to personally do. But that noise to my neighbor is a problem, and I can't control that noise won't go over the fence.
Yep, but right now you can't.
I can't do any of those activities, I understand.
We're easing up on
I understand. So hopefully my neighbors won't complain, but that was my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, those were great. And thanks for taking the time to do that. Now, he does have an interesting question here that I thought about, very last one. However, the ordinance is not restricted only to the above item. Would an air gun be considered? Is an air gun, it doesn't make noise, does it?
It's the same classification as BB gun.
Okay, I wondered about that myself. Okay.
But some
of the newer ones can be loud, but some of them can be pretty quiet
one of
too.
those .17 HHNs that gets into the firearms category. If it's not listed as a firearm, then, and if we all of a sudden we see this surge in something, we can come back and readdress it. But as of right now, the intent was BB guns, slingshots, air guns, just contain your property, do what you want.
Yeah, I just noticed on KSL that there is a international competition going on with high-powered air guns. It actually is really, some of those guns are like $4,000 or $5,000 a piece, and these guys take it really serious.
I could see your All right, well, thank you, that's awesome. Any discussion, any further discussion on this? Appreciate it. Okay, but then I would entertain a motion on this particular ordinance.
I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2611, discharge project pass.
My second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Lewis and a second by Councilman Westergaard. Go ahead.
Councilmember Lewis.
Yes.
Councilmember Jacks.
Yes.
Councilmember Bowman.
Yes.
Councilmember Euler. Yes. Councilmember Westergaard.
Yes.
Okay, the next one is ordinance 2612, Parks, Trails, and Open Space Master Plan. Had a great discussion on this. A lot of work has gone into this. Do you guys have any more questions for our community development group on this?
No, I think they were really good. So we are approving this, so when, do they start on this?
What it does is it approves the plan.
The vision.
And so then the vision goes it will actually become part of the comprehensive plan. It will become one of the chapters, and we really have to go through and identify every chapter and pass those off.
Okay.
But we're adding a chapter to our book.
Okay.
So it comes down to. Any public comment on the parks?
I won't be as long on this one. Lane Welding, just a couple quick comments on this one. I read the entire plan, believe it or not, and had a lot of comments, a lot of questions, and found several typos and things like that. I believe have all been corrected and updated, and I appreciate that. I am concerned about their growth projections in the plan. Their current growth projections are that there will be less than 3% population growth between now and 2050, which I think is way underestimated. So I expect that this plan to get revised. I am a little concerned in that we still have the plan out there, the 23-080 or 0831. There is no statement in this document that says that this plan supersedes that one. And so I don't know how you deal with having two plans now that are on the books that you got to be able to work with.
Is that one a parks plan as well?
It is.
Okay.
That's where this parks plan came from, that one.
Okay.
And that is, section 3 and appendix D and appendix E of that plan is basically the old parks plan, and now this is the new parks plan. But again, we have nothing in this plan that says this one is superseding that one. So now you have two on the books. The other one I am concerned about in that in the staff recommendation, they recommend that this will be updated every 5 years. And based off of the current past where we're talking about the Tremont General Plan, which was last updated in 2002, and that plan says specifically that it will be updated every 10 years. My question is, who's going to track it and who's going to be responsible? And how are we going to be sure that it gets done, that in 5 years from now, that this plan will be revised and we won't be doing like we're doing with the general plan where we've waited over nearly 25 years to get it updated.
So valid questions.
Those are my comments.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And ones that the new comprehensive plan will actually address that with dates on every one of those chapters on when they need to be reviewed. And then we do need to make sure we have a valid review process in place, but couldn't agree more with that. What do you think? I don't know why the motion couldn't be made that, just a second. I don't know why the motion couldn't be made that it just replaces that other one,
I think it should.
right? Because it's just replacing the other plan. Yeah.
He isn't here.
But
This number doesn't exist, 230831, I don't know what that is.
or just that this will be our only parks plan. Even that language would take care of that. Yes, ma'am. Supersede, yeah.
Cassandra Merrill. I did not read through the entire document. I got to like page 30 or 40 and I was kind of bored because anyway, it was really good, but I got to put it into a nap time, so got to lose time. Anyway, I'm just, what I got out of it, I was really grateful for the idea of the future parks. My son and I go to the park almost every single day. So to be able to have them updated with features and more parks and different things is really exciting to me because my son, I have to practically drag him home from the park when it gets too hot. So I'm really grateful for the whole plan, the whole idea. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Any questions? Anyone? I'm open for a motion on that. And that motion would be?
To accept and to clarify that, to accept ordinance number 2612 on Parks, Trails, and Open Space Master Plan, including a provision of this plan supersedes any prior plan.
Parks plan.
Parks plan, perfect.
I second that.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Jacks and a second by Councilwoman Euler.
Councilmember Lewis.
Yes.
Councilmember Jacks.
Yes.
Councilmember Bowman.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitwer.
Yes.
Councilmember Westbrook.
Yes.
Thank you. The next one is discussion and consideration of ordinance 2613, rezone code text amendment that the Community Development Department showed us earlier. Do you have any further discussion on this?
I thought we hashed it pretty good.
And thank you for all the work you're doing on that. The more simple we can make this, the better it will be. A lot less room for error.
Now, that's not the one that we gotta figure out what
No.
it's gonna be.
That's the next one.
Any public input on this one? That's what we're here for.
I'm Lane Wilding. Maybe I'm the one that really cares. I hope not, but maybe if I am, I don't know. The comment was made in your prior meeting about having a cheat sheet. And I don't remember who made that comment. Councilman Jex, I wholeheartedly agree. A cheat sheet would be great. In fact, as I've asked several times and would encourage the staff to put a flow chart together. A simple flow chart would go a long ways to answering questions about how this whole thing works and how we get answers and what the flow and the process is and where we're supposed to be at in the steps. So a cheat sheet would be great, but a flow chart would be better. That would give us exact steps and what we can expect for each step along the way. So I would encourage to have a flow chart to go with your cheat sheet.
And maybe we can build that into the community development website portion.
page. Yep, that's a great idea. I have it written down.
Any other discussion? I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we adopt ordinance number 26-13, rezone code text amendment.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilwoman Boca and a second by Councilman Westergaard.
Councilmember Lewis.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned about the man and woman thing.
Councilmember, it's easier. Councilmember
Yeah.
Jacks.
Yes.
Councilmember Bowman.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitwer.
Yes.
Councilmember Westbrook.
Yes.
Great. Next item. Letter D, discussion and consideration of adopting ordinance 2614 Planning Commission Code Text Amendment. This is the one with the options.
But also with the checklist that that's for us to do things on.
So can we pass this tonight with the changes that we've asked you to do, or should we just continue this one until they're done?
I would rather continue it so you can see what the lawyer says on it.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we continue.
Table.
Do we want to table or?
Probably hold a public hearing though.
Okay,
Or the discussion.
discussion, okay, that we table ordinance 26-14 Planning Commission Code text until we read the further document.
So
Okay.
Public comment or no? Maybe that's what she was trying to say.
Oh.
Oh, we
Public
should
comment.
comment, sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. Is there any public comment on this before we move forward? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Christine.
I'm thinking,
I'm thinking if we had a flow chart that just.
maybe break me one on the back wall.
Desk.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilperson Boca.
Yeah.
And a second by Councilperson Jex.
I don't need a roll call on the table.
All those in favor,
Yes.
say yes.
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 Opposed, if any? Okay. We are bypassing E because we're not doing that. Whoa. Reports and calendar.
I just remembered I didn't put the calendar in there, so I was gonna hurry and pull it up.
So we have on the 24th and 25th, we have the events with cooking and everything. Need all of your help. That's a big deal.
I won't be there on the 24th. I'll be in IUN with the youth group, but
Come home.
I'm coming home Friday night so that I can be there Saturday.
Okay,
We're
so
hiking out early.
So Saturday, Anyway, Friday night, we cook dinner. Saturday morning, we cook breakfast.
We got the thing, when did they want us to?
4:30 Saturday and
Friday.
6:30 in the morning Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah, 6:30.
That one's gonna be rough.
Now, we're gonna need,
Thing to be there.
Me and Nick will be there.
in the past, we've had a lot of help from departments in getting all that set up, and that's been not as wonderful as it has in the past.
Well, Paul did it all.
Oh, he would have it already.
Yeah, we just come and work,
Before
and now
eight.
we're having to do
Yeah.
the work.
So that's
So-
why we were 6:30.
So do we need to be there that early then?
If we're gonna,
Yes.
I wouldn't be there much before 7. If it doesn't start till 8, we're fine.
Yeah.
I can take that
Is
one.
the PD gonna help?
Yeah, we'll be there. We have to be there at 6 though to start cooking sausage, so.
Oh, never mind, maybe you.
So that's why PD will be there. That's what Zach told us. 'Cause
So you're cooking sausage and we're cooking the pancakes, right?
Probably.
Okay.
Which one do I do?
Well, one hand and one with the other.
Yeah.
Wasn't his like 5 a.m.?
Yeah. We're talking ham?
Yes, that's why I said 6:30.
The sausage should be cooked, I mean, you'll be on through with that by 8 or 7:30.
Hopefully, because last year we put it in the
Roaster.
the roasters and that didn't go so well. So we
Yeah,
cooked
but if you
each piece.
have a cook to
You
put in the
just
roaster, then, yeah.
Fry it on the griddles before the place.
Yeah, I think there's 3 or 4 officers going to help, so.
Okay, looks like we have our emotional well committee.
I missed, what time Friday then? What, 4:30?
It's at 4:30, but do we,
And it starts at 6?
yeah, so if it starts
5.
at 6, do we need to be there at 4:30? 5? That's it.
Yeah. Be there an hour before. We used to be there a half hour.
Somebody will get the trailer there for all this stuff.
And then in the morning, the next day. And, yeah, good times. And it's fair time, so let's go have a good time. Walk around, support people, say hi.
Are we in the fair parade this year? Do we need to worry?
We
about
will
that? We will be?
Yeah.
I will be in Atlanta, Georgia for work,
Okay.
so that would
Maybe you can pull out your four-wheeler, your side by
My side, why, oh, it has AC, of course.
Yeah,
I'm all.
and then we'll see. But yeah,
You gotta throw candy out, you can't have the AC on. I'm right with you.
Now, what was that, Blair?
I said, you have to have the AC, you gotta be able to do candy, but I guess the kids do.
Yeah, the kids walk
We
behind
have
us and
kids
do it,
walk
so
behind
we'll
us
all
sometimes.
sit in her AC. Okay, great. And then the emotional wellness won't meet again until September 2nd. I think she's got a good excuse. Farmers Market, hosted by businesses in town, will be held the first Saturday each month at Schumann Park from 10 to 2 during
How's
May.
that been going?
I think it's been going okay, yeah. I was in Coeur d'Alene a little while ago, and they had their farmer's market. They closed a couple streets down, and you walked up and down the streets. It was amazing. It'd be fun to get to that point at some point. Cedar City Leadership Report. Have you got anything for us, Lindsay?
No, I wasn't planning on, because I was trying to get us out of here by 7. so.
Yeah, well, we've got 25 minutes. We got 24 minutes still, so. Yeah, they're doing good. Chief, come on up.
So, we had an unrecent event that brought the old fire truck from the France fire truck back. The parade's coming up and it's still here. And so I'm wondering if you guys want the fire truck in the parade and if you guys would like to ride on the fire truck. I was thinking.
Which parade?
The city.
County parade.
The
Yeah.
fair
Well,
parade.
yes.
Yeah, I think that'd be
That's-
great.
We can keep
I'm
it
so
indoors.
bummed. Every other year we have to go to Atlanta for this trade show.
Yeah.
And it's over Fair Week, and I just like,
You're the boss, you send somebody.
I don't want to ride on the top.
Well,
It's the look-
that's-
the old
What
truck.
you'll be sitting, it's a lower,
It's the old
it's an
truck.
old
Okay,
plastic
that's
truck.
good. I can handle
Yeah.
that. I'm not going high.
Let's put the whole city council on that.
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking, the council, Blair, if you wanted to drive it,
Can you house it till then?
that's what I'm saying, we'll keep it here at the station until
we can
then.
make it work.
We'll make it work.
Like, can I even still be a Tremont resident if I miss that week?
Sorry, you're not. But
And we'll
that sounds
certainly
good.
have a council.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's a good idea. And we don't have to get the, we just make a banner that on the side, on the ladder side.
I love it. Yeah, I
Good
think
idea.
if you want, I was thinking you drive it the way it is and you guys can, you put city
We'll just-
council on there and the front or
Zach's got
something.
some banners that say Tremont City Council, we'll just put them on there.
Yeah. And you guys can throw candy, it has seat, we can put chairs in the back to back, so you guys are facing in two different directions if you want.
Like a park lounge?
Yeah. Or you can.
The city youth council usually follows and so we'll just sit there and watch them work and it'll work great. I love it.
But we can house it until then and then
Okay.
we'll take it. I'm trying to arrange right now.
I saw it today out there.
Yeah, so,
Well, we
keep.
Yeah, let me know if you need help getting it back, but, I mean, it'd be nice to keep it, we just don't have a police.
Yeah, we don't have, yeah, but for now, it's good in the station. I just wanted to check before we got rid of it.
I was surprised when it was there, I've been gone, I hoped it was not.
Yeah.
When I called the museum and said, we'll try to get it right back, cause that's pain.
Yeah.
For you guys, but.
And I think that's the best place to store it until we have a place here. We were talking about building a station. My grand idea would be to have our new station, have a glass roll-up door in the front lobby, and that's where it lives.
Yeah, when you do that, that'll probably be.
That'll be years from now.
Long before, but that needs to happen.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
then one other thing, since we took over, or we started a social media page back in April, I think it was, April, May. We started at 1.2K followers and we're at 3.2 currently.
Oh, awesome.
And so, we've been working with Blackthorn, putting videos up, explaining things like some of the questions like Councilman Boca had about why we take the fire truck to the grocery store, things like that. So I think it's working. You're doing a good job. And of course, our call line is.
The picture, and I don't know who took that picture at the funeral at the cemetery. The one with the old truck and then just that was a good picture.
I think that was Alex.
Who did?
Javier. Munoz.
Was that just with the phone? Cause he must have a better way to make that happen.
I think it was his phone. So.
Phones are pretty awesome.
Yeah, a lot of the pictures we get, they're on phones because we're trying to make a point of having the guys stop, take a second. We're doing our job, but we have a second, take a picture, get it to him so we can get it up on social media. But he's been doing a great job with our social media, so I'm grateful to him.
Thank you.
And to you guys for helping with Blackthorn. That's been super helpful. So good. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything? Not? Yeah. Just FYI, our Citizen Advisory Committee is going to keep moving forward, but Norm stepped down from that. He's had some things come up in his life, so we will be restarting that pretty quick. And a couple of people are really interested in helping us get it going, so we should see that start up and get going pretty soon. I want to thank every one of you for all that you do. It's fun working with you. I want to thank the city staff for everything they do as well. And it was nice to have kind of like 3 weeks and I get back here and everything's still running normal. So that's awesome. That means Lindsay's doing a good job.
Yeah.
Still miss Jeff.
Huh?
Still miss Jeff.
Oh, thanks. Okay, with that, I would entertain one final motion.
I'll entertain a motion. Did you?
Are we going to talk about the litigation issue in closed session at all?
Well, I had planned on this yet. I have not heard enough yet. I think we need to move forward with that yet.
Oh, do we have an update?
I don't think we do. I talked to the lawyer yesterday and he didn't say anything, but if you want to go in closed session, we can do it. I do. Okay, then I'll entertain a motion. We go into closed session to discuss some litigation.
I'll make that motion to go into closed session.
And I'll second it.
Okay, a motion by Councilperson Euler and a second by Councilperson Westergaard. Okay. Roll call.
This is all in favor.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, we will not be long.
That's what you said last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not gonna be long.
Gotta protect the city.
What's that?
I said, we gotta protect the city.
And litigation, I think we need to record this one.